All well? Hello.
Hey, hi Dirk, how you
Hi.
doing? And
Hi,
Natalie. Wow.
Natalie. Hey,
Wow.
Hi.
Yeah,
is it
it's
all
good.
working? We can hear each other.
Yeah, I can't believe it. It's so good to see you guys. I haven't seen you for quite a while, Dirk, and it's man, amazing. I'm just amazed at all the stuff that's going on in Germany. Man, you
Yes.
guys must be really happy because I don't know. It's tough though. It's tough because everything changes at one time. I mean,
Yeah.
nobody knows what's going on.
Yes, it was a roller coaster ride par example. Yeah, really, really crazy year.
Well, like I remember, for example, when who was it? A German guy comes over to California, and he doesn't understand that we had this in California. There's some national places there, like it was a national that's owned by the federal government, and so cannabis is not legal in that area, in this, Fort Mason. And that's where the fair was. And he just didn't understand it. It was too confusing. He says, we don't have that stuff there. We don't have it in Germany like that. So, that was real confusing for him. And I know for other people in the United States too, it's confusing for them because they don't understand what the German system's like.
True. Yeah, Natalie started to share screens. Let's dive a little bit into Germany. Yeah, you already start with the questions that are what has changed. Back then when we all started, George, Germany was as illegal and as anywhere else. This picture is actually the first time I show some pictures from the grows I installed and ran in the past. This is from the late 90s. And it was something where we installed a complete grow room. I think it's over 15 years now, so they cannot charge me anymore for nothing, which is good. Now we are in a legal world. But there's so many things we can talk about. But because I know you and I, and we would just jump back and forth and touch every topic, and maybe don't really keep a thread, a red line, as we call it in Germany. Let's stick to the red line that we try to come up with, and we take you on a little journey. What Germany has on a little journey over in Germany on the decriminalization, how it has been before and after. I'm in the industry since 95, 94. I'm a grower since 94. I had a grow shop and a wholesale, and we produced things in the 90s. We still were able to sell seeds. Now I'm crazy and happy as a little pig and shit to have Dirk Seed Shop active and online, but that is from 1998 till 2024. It's been not legal to sell seeds as cannabis seeds in small amounts, clearly counted, high price.
And buy.
That was forbidden. And now we have it again. Back then you had to hide. Back then they were stealing electricity. Back then no one cared about anything. You were installing whatever worked. People were growing big and small, but everything illegal, everything hidden. You were only Jorge Cervantes. Nobody was allowed to know that you're George Van Patten, right?
No, never. That was like the kiss of death. You always had to hide. That's the one thing that I really appreciate, not having to hide now.
Yes, and I always was forced to talk about tomatoes and chili and fruits, the fruit building phase of the plant. And bullshit like that, which we just had to say because we were. And as soon as someone made the mistake to say, "Oh, actually, my cannabis plant's there," we're like, "Oh, you have to go out now. We cannot talk to you anymore," because that was the ball game. As long as you didn't know, it was okay. But once you knew, you were part of the crime.
That's correct. That's correct.
Yeah. There were all books about it. So in Germany, we had a crazy scene. Maybe you switch on from the tubular picture, Natalie, and see a little bit more. Yeah, that's the NFT tables. My first grow books beside yours were the ABC of NFT by Alan Cooper. I love the NFT system. Yeah, we had huge hoods with the HDs where we were pumping it. I was controlling the pH with CO2. Really, yeah. Yeah, actually, that set up. Yeah, I had those oasis slabs cut, the roots. Yeah. So we were growing big and small. We were having fun. It was all in disguise. I actually back then started to dislike the blah 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 about this strain or that strain because everyone could just bullshit you with the names and whatever of strains. Nowadays, now we can start to see how in Germany we can really have strains, have trust in brands, have trust in maybe also seed banks at some point, German-based seed banks, German-based genetics. I'd love to have strains that flourish outdoors in Germany, that are really resilient. The old Werner Bruning gave me his double fun. His seeds he was growing in the Netherlands, always outdoors, and they were perfect for German climates.
Yeah, actually, there's quite a few varieties that are good. The ones were from over in Switzerland that were quite good too. They were growing down in the south in Ticino.
Perfect. Yeah, everything that's very mold resistant. It's got to be mold. Powder mildew has to be not the problem because especially in the autumn time we have a lot of humidity in the mornings, in the nights, a lot of water dropping from the sky, so to speak, as precipitation or just as you say the dust. No, what is it called? Der Tau in German.
Smog, maybe.
No, yeah, maybe like the fog that settles in the mornings and then always kills your outdoor plants.
Yeah, dew.
Yeah, the dew. Yes. The dew.
Natalia got it right. She was the one.
Yeah. That actually was Paradise Seeds. Oh yeah, that's I'm not sure about the timeline. Yeah, but this is also an old time. I was in the car with Case Hendricks. That's old dog from Case Hendricks, and also another journalist from Germany, Jens. I don't want to say his whole name, but another Jens, old Germanist was also in the car. We were driving with those little few grams of hashish. And we were going through a police control where the whole highway was closed. And Case was driving, and we were all afraid. And he was driving, just waving at the police guys, really driving crazily, waving at them, showing them, I have to go there. And they waved him through. He made it happen that we were driving through the whole police control without getting touched. Because he acted in the beginning, he said, I have to go in the back. In the back, he said, I have to go from the front. And he was there was a me. One of those situations. That's the home grow. One of my first home grow setups. Just also with IKEA. That's an IKEA cupboard.
Yeah. Oh, this looks really familiar to. It's what it used to look like.
It's an old fan controller, right? Temperature fan controller. That was a huge gimmick. And also, and then the dusty, very dirty carbon filter. I should have changed it earlier, I guess, back then. But that's just little more pictures. I also these little ventilators I just kept hanging. I used whatever I had. We tried to build something. We were coming up with ideas. Foils were used in the craziest ways. I made so many mistakes. But I learned. That's one of the first grow boxes where there was no grow tents yet. We didn't have Denise from Homebox inventing the grow tent yet. So this was our monkey, a grow box complete with everything. But it was heavy as shit. Right. And who knows those lamps yet? Who still remembers those grow lights?
Never seen them.
Yeah, they were a big thing. I mean, they had 125 watts.
The 1U, 3U, 6U, what a 4U, and most inefficiently coordinated. or configured. But those energy savings lamps or whatever, CFLs or
Yeah.
Ooh. Everything. There were so many lights that were bound to replace HPS, but
Yeah.
it took a while until I trusted LED to really do it.
Yeah.
Talking about mistakes, no, I didn't see that one coming.
Oh, you got a real good crop of spider mites there.
Yeah, it's a good microbiology on that one. And I think that's yeah. But I guess that's also a little setup of mine back then. But it's all old stuff. All when I was just a grower, and in the late 90s, beginning 2000s, small scale, big scale. I had an apartment in Berlin which I rented under a wrong name, under a false name. Back then, you could just rent it, and there were so many apartments free. No one cared as long as you paid the money. You could do it. That was quite a time. What else? To summarize it up, what was different back then? Again, we were able to have grow shops. We were able to talk or to also sell your books in a grow shop, which was better than some countries, but we were not able to openly talk about it directly. I also said, you could sell a knife to a person, but if the person said, well, is that knife good enough to kill my mother-in-law? Then if you still continue to sell the knife, then you become partner in crime. And that was always the position of a grow shop in Germany.
Right.
You could only talk to them in general ways, and you could sell a book and you could sell the grow equipment. You could not sell seeds, you couldn't sell clones, but in the times of the internet, that was less and less important. But you never was able to tell someone, hey, do it like this. Or you could bring in a leaf and you could say, you got this deficiency or stuff like that. As soon as you knew, you were partner in crime. You were, so that was our situation before we had the coalition coming up in 2022, 21 to say, if we get elected, then we will legalize completely. They started, we had a roller coaster ride that was at least, and then they got elected, and then they said, yes, we will legalize. And then still everyone was, oh, will they do it? We're in Europe. They can't do it. Can they? So that was always a question. Will it really happen? Will it not happen? We were always going down and up. It's a topic. It's no topic. They say this. It's a three-party coalition. Never before we had that in Germany on a federal level, a three-party coalition. We always were afraid it won't last until they legalize. Yeah. They'll break up before, and it was, and then they said, it'll come. And then Europe said, no, it won't. And then they thought, we do it in 2 steps. But we don't want to do it in 2 steps because we know in the Netherlands, they did it in 2 steps and it fired back, which really it did. I think the Netherlands is not a good example. And then, it was more and more clear it'll happen. And for me, that time was really challenging because I had to anticipate, will it happen or not? If I want to be there once it happens, I have to invest a long time before that. I needed to know what can happen. So can I sell seeds then? Will we be able to have mother plants? No. Will others do, will there be large grow operations possible? How will the medical market be? It's all not be clear. And I was only a wholesale then. So I had only Drehhandel as a wholesale, and I knew I have to change. What will come? Yeah. And then we came up with Dirks Growshop to say, okay, we have to have a grow shop for the consumers. And I also invested in a legal insurance that is security that would give me backup if I get challenged. And then I was invested in a legal opinion by one of the most known lawyers in this industry on the sale of seeds once the law was there. We always anticipated, can we do it now? How can we do it? What's your status? And all that we had to do parallel to investing in the back into the websites, into getting ready. preparing for Mary Jane 2024, which was a crazy show, wasn't it?
Oh man, I still can't believe it. That was it flipped me out. You couldn't walk from one side to the other. It would take like 3 hours to go across the hall there.
Yes,
And
We always thought
I
cannabis
couldn't-
is
it was
the
very
worst.
difficult. Yeah, I
I was
wanted
selling.
to,
I was selling seeds there, and I was just selling. There were people buying seeds all the time. It was amazing.
Yeah.
oh,
Yeah, talking about you, Natalie, I mean, also what clearly was the case before that, Rehandel was just me and my partner, and then my partner even left the company, and I was alone, and I had to employ people. Luckily, very, very luckily, I found people like Natalie, who is also a part of it, and Stefan, for example, who's part of the picture with George now. So, Natalie, yeah, you've been part of the journey. Who are you? Do you want to introduce yourself? Maybe very late in the video.
It was very interesting. I love hearing stories from insiders like you guys. So I'm Natalie. I actually started growing cannabis very early when I was 14, 15, but with no knowledge in the garden of my parents. And then I started to do it indoors when the LEDs came up. I didn't know how to do the thing with the Vorschaltgerät. I don't know it in English. You have with the NFTs, you had to do something with the electricity. I didn't know how to do this. So I waited for the LEDs basically, and then started growing. And then when the government came together, I thought, I can go to the cups now and I can show my face now. But then it took 3 years until we could show ourselves actually and tell everybody what we're doing. My friends had no idea that I was growing cannabis.
Like a coming out. It's a little bit like a coming out, right?
Yes, I can also show you my grow a little bit. It's just I was moving with my plants also. So they were in -5 degrees, and I had to. They look a little bit frozen now. They didn't like it at all. We had to drive them through the city, but I could carry my plants through the staircase when I was moving because it's legal now. My neighbors hated it because it was. I mean, they're nearly finished. You can see, it was stinky like hell. But I did it and I didn't care. And that was a nice feeling, actually. This is the Ghostbusters from Sensi Seeds. That's the Humboldt Seed Company Pineapple Muffin Auto.
okay.
I didn't top it. It just threw out 4 main colas, and then the other colas around it were growing more. It's really a unique autoflower.
Yeah. Well, can I? Yeah, you don't only grow; you grow very well, and you already participated. I have to brag about it.
Yeah, this is the Ghostbusters OG from Search Cannabis, and it's going to the Autoflower World Cup in Barcelona now.
Yes, and you have already handed in plants or flowers before in cups, correct?
Yes, last year I won surprisingly 2 cups in the Autoflower World Cup. The first prize, and thank you, Indica, and the 3rd place, Sativa. And yeah, I did not expect it at all. I'm still shocked. And I became, my life changed a little bit with the cups also. And I have 2 jobs in the industry now. Thank you for giving me a job, Dirk.
Hey,
I really appreciate
my
it.
pleasure. Same for me. Thanks for being there. We're a great team of growers, I can say. Only our financial head, the head of finance, he's not growing, but all the rest is passionate growers. Yeah,
yes.
With a heart at the right spot, as we say it in Germany.
Dirk is the best boss, and it's the best team, and I'm super happy with my job. We have a lot to do with our expertise with growing is also important in the job. I really like it.
Yeah. Yeah, that's part of the fun new world. We can now talk about the plants. We can create GPTs that help us analyze plant deficiencies. We can chit chat with our customers about the best grow or harvest options. That's fun.
So
Yes.
so
Here's
did
I'd like to show you the grow box of our co-worker, Ike. So he has clones from our shop also. And he's growing in a closet.
Home built, homemade closet.
okay.
Yeah. What you see is, we Germans, we are growing very small compared to the American.
We actually expected to grow very small, but we can grow a little bit bigger also. And that's another, it's also a customer of ours. He's growing for himself and his wife. So they're both growing. They have this typical German house. And he's also, you can find his social media in the description of the YouTube video. He's called Unkraut, which is weed in German.
Yeah.
And he has made solar panels on his roof now. So he has shared with us basically his setup and the costs that he had before and now with the solar panels. I thought it would be maybe interesting.
Yeah.
He's also growing those flowers you just saw with vegan organic fertilizer, and also he doesn't use any peat in his medium.
Mm-hmm.
So,
oh man.
Jorge, you are a judge in the Autoflower World Cup this year.
Yeah. Oh boy, I don't like to be a judge anymore. It's just too much responsibility. It's like I got to pay attention to stuff. I think other people should be a judge.
I have tried some of the samples of the other growers, and you will be very high. I can promise you.
Yeah, no, I'm always blasted, really blasted, and it's difficult, I mean, think about all the years you guys have been in this, I still like getting high really well and stuff, but I'd rather grow. It's a lot more fun. But I got a question. This happened to me when I was in America. Because we had a house over there for a few years, and when I first planted, I got really nervous because I just couldn't believe it had been like my whole life I've been without, I've been hiding. And it just felt really weird. I didn't trust anybody. I didn't care what anybody said because deep down inside, it was illegal. And I thought I thought I could lose my house because that's the way it is in America, or the United States. And did you guys go through that?
Yeah.
Did you guys go through that fear?
Big time.
Yeah. It's pretty normal. Really normal.
Yeah, I have a story to tell that's going to come up, where this feeling was so high. I shared this story before. I was in prison. In 2007, they locked me up I got 4 years for growing cannabis or helping people grow and sell cannabis. And that got triggered again just a couple of weeks ago when my personal grow in my office caught fire. And my neighbor called me. I was in the office all weekend, cleaning it up, tidying it up, because we had a growers gathering the next week, and I wanted to invite them all into the office after we gathered in a bar around the corner. And I cleaned it all up, and then I left for our garden place, which is outside Berlin. And when I arrived at the garden place, 40 minutes, a neighbor called saying, "Dirk, the police and the fire people are breaking into your office right now." And I was like, "There's fire." And And then I was just turning around, driving back, and this this time thinking what has happened. I had plants in there. I had 3 grow boxes in there. I had plants in different stages, but it's also it's our personal space. It's been, it's real tragic shit, but no one got hurt. That's first. So, but then the police was there. They went to investigate. They went in, and looked at it. I was not able to go in. I had to stay there. They took my identity. I was all in this emotional fear again of them just saying, okay, Mr. Rehahn, please follow us in the car and put your hands to the back. That was, then the first policeman came out and said, I got good news and bad news. I said, the good news is the cannabis, you did all good. Nothing to complain. It's all within your legal limits. Good. The bad news is the windowsill also took fire, which you see right there in the windowsill got also burned. And that meant that I also caused damage to a third party, which is the house owners, because the windowsill is part of the house and not part of my inventory. And that meant they had to file me for
investigation.
For arson. They investigated me for arson by accident. That gave me 2-3 days, and because they then said, call this number. Next day I called the number. They said, yeah, I can't tell you anything. You have to go into a police station and then they will tell you. And I was like, okay. So they want me in. And then again and again, I had this mind fuck of what did I do wrong? They will do something. There was nothing. All the time, everything was perfect. And I actually, when I was really looking at it, what did I do? I did nothing wrong. It was like an aquarium that also can take either. It could also have been the AC adapter of my Wi-Fi, which was also in that corner. So no one knows what caught fire or why it caught fire. But the bad conscience, the fear, and I had to leave that site. I had to go. My wife, she said, "Why? What's happening?" But I couldn't even explain. I had to go. I couldn't stay there. I had to go for 2 days until they declared me, you're not a suspect anymore. Then only I had this relief again. So I think it'll take me years to get rid of it. This feeling of being a criminal.
Yeah.
I have to force myself filling my vaporizer in public to remind myself that I'm not doing anything wrong anymore.
Yeah. Yeah, it's hard to remember that. I mean, because we've been just pounded in your head for years,
For decades. For decades.
Yeah, for decades. Yeah, that's the thing.
When my neighbors, I was living in a house for a few months, like to find another flat for myself, and the neighbors all had little kids. And when I was smoking, sometimes they smelled it and they were scared their kids would get brain damage, because this is what in Germany the newspaper write. When kids smoke cannabis, they get brain damage. Is what you hear at the moment. So they were ringing my doorbell, to complain. And my heart was pumping so much. But then I just said, yeah, I'm smoking cannabis. I do that. Because it's allowed, I just said it. Yeah, it's me. I do it. I'm sorry. And then I met with them to talk about a solution, which window to open when, or trying to find a solution. So I really have to remind myself all the time, you're good. Just stay friendly. We will find a solution, just with every other problem.
Yeah, but that's also something which I experienced, that because it's legal, people also more openly oppose.
Yes.
Which is weird, but I had that in the Netherlands as well. Also on a very nice point back in the mid of 90s. I was there as a young adult smoking in the day, and an adult approached me and said, "Oh, you're already smoking before evening? That's not good, my friend." And he left again. He just said that to me, and it's like, wow. I was really feeling bad then, on a level where I felt, he didn't say, "You're going to land in prison. You're going to land in the gutter. Your life is wasted." It was an appropriate response in a matter where he said, "Okay, thanks." It's wow. that was helpful, not nice, but helpful. And it was, within reason. And that's, I think, what will happen more, that people just say, hey, I hate that smell. Please don't do it here. Up until now, I feel we stoners in Germany, and thanks everyone out there, we are keeping it low profile. We don't overstretching it. I think we could be much more provocative about it. And I love how until now, all us German stoners, or as much as we can, are handling it appropriately and wisely. Because we are living on thin ice. It's not carved in stone. Yeah. Not because we do something illegal, but because the laws in Germany could change again. It's always still uncertain. In Bavaria, my whole house would have been searched because of that fire and them finding cannabis.
Yeah,
they would have wanted to find every gram of cannabis everywhere in the house and in my second place and wherever, to then sum it up and then find out if I did something wrong by 2 grams. In Berlin, until now, they said, well, this is not a problem. You didn't do anything wrong. Thank you. So that's, I guess, also, there's always a limit or a difference also in the state interpretation of the urgency of looking.
No, it's true. And I'm saying, I saw somebody come up here with a statement that says, Dirk, you are not a criminal.
Yeah.
I love that.
Thanks,
nobody's supporting you. Everybody watching you is supporting you now.
Yeah,
and
that said, you guys post questions. We are there in the last 20 minutes, last 50 minutes, or all for you. You post the questions in the comments. We'll get into them in the end for the last 15 minutes. Sorry to interrupt, George. Go ahead.
No worries. No worries. No worries. And I saw a note about this living soil.
Oh, yes.
That's
actually something. I mean, Germans are great in organics. We love organic food. We love the organic markets. We brought up the farmers market thing a lot. We are the strong organic place. I grew up as a grower that uses the truncheon to stir up my nutes and then check my EC and then give it to the plants. Nowadays, I only can use it to stir up the nutes, because I also am on living soil. And even though we are just growing in small spaces like 60 by 60, so a 2 by 2 tent, or this is a 3 by 3, 80 by 80, or 120 by 60 is actually the perfect size tent. So it's a 4 by 2 in foot. That's my lovely size, 120 by 60 by 180 or something. 220 watt light in there only. But that's enough to grow more than you can in Germany, where you even, I would say, have a perpetual harvest of maybe 1 plant a month, and then you don't go over the 50 grams that are allowed. So 2 ounces, 1.5 ounces, 2 ounces allowed at home maximum. And possession outdoors, 25 grams. So that's, nearly an ounce to possess when you're outside. That's a little bit it. So, and I also saw, now to get the living soil aspect again, biotabs, Florganics guy, now Sonnenerde as well, others from Italy, from Spain, producing all these living soil components that also work in like a 4-gallon pot, so a 12 liter, 16 liter, 20 liter. A lot of people also have raised beds, indoor beds of whatever size, but many people manage to grow good in living soil in a pot that is only 20 liters or so.
That's a little bit tricky, though, to keep all that life going in there.
You must never let them dry out, but it seems to be working. I mean, they give only water. I mean, the pictures I've seen, so many pictures I've seen, they prove, they prove them right. It works,
It works.
So it can be much better maybe, but also there, as a beginner, back then in the old days, you had 10 people coming in wanting to start to grow. They couldn't talk to any of their friends. If they made a mistake, it's either you as a sales guy who told him wrong, it's the shitty product, or the world. But it's never him. No, sure. But and then 2 out of 10 made it, and the good guys who were good growers shut up because they don't want to know and let anyone know that they're good. So you don't have a natural word of mouth. Nowadays, you can give them living soil components where they just mix. It's also an inert substrate which they re-oculate with the right stuff that lasts for the right time. And then afterwards, you have a live biome and you can re-inoculate it again. But yeah, that's just that's possible. So
that's that technology has changed too. I mean,
yes.
I remember when people they would always use new soil, and now they're not using the new soil; they're reusing it. A couple of reasons. One is it's just so expensive.
Yeah. And one of my colleagues, Stefan, he's just a nerd. He's just perfect, Yeah, and that's the meter. That meter is my new truncheon, sadly, or whatever. That's the EC meter is like the main thing for EC and pH for everyone doing minerals. And this one is a millibar per hectopascal. So it's a pressure tensiometer, a water pressure meter. It shows me when I have to water again a living soil to keep it moist at the right level. So if it's going to be over 400 or 500, then you have a too dry soil, and then you do kind of like already disrupt this biome. But with that meter, to keep it at some around 100 and 200, I understood until now, is a very nice level. And it is very different from back then putting the finger in the soil and trying to test if it's got to be dry till the second knuckle. That rule doesn't work anymore in living soil. Especially with the root pouches, with the aerated pots. That doesn't work anymore.
No, we had to come up with all these rules of thumb back then because not everybody had a moisture
that maybe brought the havoc with the fire. The other rule I learned from you: water below the belt line, electricity above the belt line.
Yes.
So I had like extension cord to be on top of my grow box, and then another extension cord and another thing. The two new products I have in my store. First product is a fire extinguisher, an automatic one that everyone should have. The second new product I'm sourcing now is a 5-meter cord with a 10-plug device that has an installed fuse and maybe also a temperature.
I bought exactly that stuff now.
That has to be, No, I don't want to make money on that. I don't want to have anyone having that trouble I'm going through right now. I'm very, and take insurances. I also don't earn money on insurances, but be insured, please. Everyone out there, be insured. It's hell. As an illegal grower, for sure, now I would have to have a bill on, a large bill on my desk. And then also not being insured, even though, it's not illegal anymore, that would be hell. This is another picture that's crazy. This is a picture of me throwing away cannabis flowers. My outdoor harvest, I had to throw away. Why? Because Germany doesn't allow me to keep more than 50 grams dried cannabis. So I had to make some hash out of it in a normal, whatever way. I didn't have time. I didn't have nothing. I could have just saved it and have all for my, for half a year of puffing away. But I had to throw it into my bin, into my compost pile 2 months before my grow box burned now. So, I would have needed that to compensate for the 6 months of not being able to grow now. No, because I'm only allowed 50 grams per time. So the law forces me to grow indoors, small scale, continuously.
Damn, you don't have no dope, dude.
Yeah, well, I have to do dope more. Yeah, this is the next assortment. We got it, hashish. Marco Kuhn from Switzerland, he's got great hashish making machines. We got to take stuff like that on, this traditional hashish making, ice water extraction we already have, this kind of stuff. But who am I? I'm busy enough. I didn't have time to do all that. We got already 1940, so we got already 40 minutes down the line. This is also, living soil in big bags now. This is for the associations, for the big producers. They can also do living soil in big bags. And that is also associations. These are kind of like, just yesterday I visited a grow facility, a possible new grow facility in Hamburg for the associations. We're consulting them. We're looking at it also there. The production facilities will be rather 20, 30, 10 to 20, 30 square meters of net flower production space.
Mm-hmm.
One room. So smaller, like production facilities of maybe 100 kilos per year, 200, maximum 300 kilos per year. So smaller, but we'll get there. We'll. I think we need a couple of years to have a cannabis culture coming up in Germany and kick ass the rest of the world with our great and tasty buds. We start, there you were this year before Mary Jane. We had the seminar, we had the cannabis competence days. Martin from Sunlight, we had large crowd, high class speakers. Even George came to talk to us and with us.
So most of it was in German.
We'll continue to get as much knowledge as we can and to work within the laws, within the cards that are dealt to us, and play with them as wisely as we can.
Man, excellent. Yeah, in the United States, it was a few years before people really ramped up to grow big. It takes a while for the market to develop and for skills to develop. And, you guys, I mean, Germans in general are just better organized. And I hope you don't have the same problems like they had in the United States where everybody grows like way too much cannabis. And when they grow too much, then the price goes down. It went from like $3,000 US for 1 pound, half a kilo, to $300 a pound for the same amount. And that made things really difficult for a lot of people.
Yeah, somebody is saying make charas instead. People are actually buying stuff to make concentrates because you get around the 50 grams a little bit when you make concentrate out of your harvest.
Yeah.
You cannot have 50 grams of concentrate though.
I will. In the end, back then I didn't even care too much to throw it away because I was just so busy and I knew I would come, there would be more, there would be new, I could just play with it. As weird as it sounds, it's also, always, it's more fun to grow. It's so much fun for me to grow. I can't possibly smoke everything that I grow. So,
it's also the funny thing that I saw is when we talk about each other's growth and we show each other pictures, no one is allowed to count the plants anymore. You always have to say 3 plants, no matter how many plants you see on the picture. It's like the emperor's new clothes now. Oh, your 3 plants are super beautiful.
Yeah, because 3 flowering plants is the most you can have. You can also have more plants in different stages. It's like production material, propagation material. But flowering plants, only 3. Yeah. So now let's go into the Q&A or in the questions. Can you maybe, let's check if you have any questions for us.
Wenn ihr Fragen habt, ich kann es auch übersetzen. Wenn ihr es könnt auch auf Deutsch fragen.
Ja. Magst du dieses schöne Bild mit dem Bud und dem Graffiti machen? Das sieht noch ein bisschen schöner aus, finde ich. Weit zurück, glaube ich.
Ja, kann ich machen.
Cool. Vielleicht auch nicht. Ach ja. What did we forget? Actually, there were also flowers in Berlin, and due to climate change, we're able to grow quite some good.
Yes, somebody just asked in the chat. Sorry, somebody asked in the chat. So once you cut off the plants, it's counting for the 50 grams.
No, as long as it's wet, no. So there's also the theory, lawyer proof that you freeze it fresh, and that should also not count. I mean, go down that road in Bavaria or maybe in Berlin, you get different results by lawyers or by the judges' decisions. So, but there is room to harvest a kilo, I would say, fresh, then freeze it fresh, then extract it fresh with ice water extraction because you cannot use solvents. You must extract solvent-less. and then you can dry it. That's freeze dry, and then you can rosin press it, and then out of 1 kilo you might have kind of like 50 grams of kind of like pure, fresh, first grade rosin, and that would be all legal in Germany. And then you've kind of like legalized your kilo of weed in purifying the hashish extract out of it.
But no one really is really sure about it. We are all a little bit with one foot in the illegal side.
Yeah.
We are used to it, right?
Yeah. But yeah, whatever. Go ahead. Other questions.
The people asking about what about 3 plants and flower and 3 plants and veg. So you have only 3 plants when they're in flower, or are all the counts counting? So can you have 6 plants if 3 of the plants are not flowering, basically?
Yes. My interpretation of the law, yes, definitely. And also the interpretation of the policemen of 3 different ones that have to investigate it. So yes, 3 flowering plants is what you can have. It gets tricky if you have huge mother plants, I would say. That's also something where some counties would say we don't like it. Other counties say no problem. That's kind of the not yet clear definition of propagation material.
They asked if you go to court if you have more than 3.
Yes. As soon as you go to have more than 3, then you will get prosecuted, and then it's been taken to court if there's enough evidence. And then also they're still not sure if they only count kind of like anything above 50 gram or if they count everything now. George, say something shortly.
Can I talk? Okay. Can you hear me? Can you?
Now I can hear you again. Perfect.
Okay, good. Yeah, I mean, to me, it seems like it'd be really important to harvest only 1 plant at a time.
Yes. And
time everything so you've got 1 flowering plant ready to harvest, and then stack everything up behind that. It just makes sense, and grow as many little guys as you can. I mean, I like the little ones. There's a lot of them.
Yeah. I mean, it's like I said, this 120 by 60 gives me enough room, kind of like for 3 plants, and then one can always, it's a consecutive thing. You have kind of like every 3rd or every 4th week, you can pop one up, or you can, put another clone in. And
exactly.
If you have automatics, you can do it all in 1 tent. Else, you might gotta have 2 tents for the veg and the flower.
Yeah, but
Michigan, 1 tent. Love you for 12 plants there. Let's make it happen.
But we still have raids. Somebody asked that. Yes, we still have raids. We are still get raided, and our houses get searched still.
You've been raided.
Me, no, but a friend of mine, 2 days after the legalization dropped, because of smell, which is actually not allowed anymore.
What? No males? Well, how does
because of the smell? You got raided because it smells strongly.
The police guy said, "Oh, it smells like cannabis," and he said, "Yeah, it's legal." And they said, "No, we have to search your house now." And then they took the lights, they dropped the expensive Lumatec lights in front of his eyes on the floor. Like, it's still with super unnecessary emotional stuff.
Well, yeah. Hey, hi to Berlin back.
Hi from Berlin to Berlin.
Hey. Whoa. Well, I'm looking forward to everything else changing in Europe too after Germany. That's the big thing, because I mean, here in Spain, we're just slow. Everything's slow here, and France is like backwards, and Italy's going backwards, and so is the UK. So Germany legalizing was really important, super important.
Yeah. Yeah, that's true. And I hope this initial spark really gets further now, because we do need the European context to fully legalize. Even though I must say, I am actually happy as a entrepreneur that they don't fully legalize right away, because I would fear that then the market is being flooded by really, really big players, where a small grow and seed shop like Dirks wouldn't really maybe have a market for long. I know that we have to reinvent ourselves again and again the next years, because the market will change, and cannabis, the more it becomes a commodity or just a normal substance, the less justifiable there's this cannabis world, I think, even, which is maybe a provocative thesis, but I do believe that we have to redefine ourselves and see what's the interest in the world. How long do people grow cannabis? Who's growing tobacco?
Hardly anybody. Tobacco is kind of like not an important crop anymore. It's lost everything. Man, I'm just
yeah.
Now we are happy. We can, when we fly inside Germany, we can put our 25 grams on the security table. Like, here's my weed. Haha.
Only if because taking
inside
it from outside into Germany is still a criminal offense, because that's smuggling. But having it in Germany right away, anywhere, is no problem anymore.
Right, right. That's real common around the world, to be honest.
Yeah.
No, it was not here.
Yeah.
So, if you're patient, yes, I need a recipe also, a receipt.
A prescription.
A prescription.
Yeah. Well, the medical cannabis we didn't even touch yet. There's the medical cannabis in Germany really got a boost, because they took it out of the Narcotics Act. And that means, that you can order it online. Still, you need a doctor and a doctor's prescription, but that is, in Berlin, for example, it's less than an hour until 9 o'clock in the evening. And from prescription of the doctor's video appointment to choosing your weed to getting it delivered into your hands.
Oh, really?
Less than an hour. Yes. If you're somewhere in this countryside, then it still is 2 days delivery. But it's weed from what I hear 4 or 5 euros to 15 euros, and everything above 10 is good quality.
Wow.
But that market is most fast expanding. I'd say we had a crazy year last year as a grow shop. But I think the cannabis industry, the medical cannabis industry in all of Europe that supplies Germany is really profiting.
Good. And how do you see the market? Because usually what happens in a marketplace, and I've seen these all over the world, is there'll be this really big excitement at first, and everybody wants to start growing immediately, and there's no supplies or anything. Everybody buys everything in the country, and then they go over to France and buy everything there, and Italy, everything there. That's what happened here, I mean. But how is it this year? Is the excitement continued?
I would say yes. People are, on the one hand, I guess even seeds and stuff, people buy a little bit now because it's still legal and they don't know what's coming. For sure now, because we have out of the normal election next week, because the coalition didn't hold until the end of the term. We will get a more conservative government. Maybe even the laws change a little bit, but I guess we can develop the market further. I think we are in a good position so that growers will be a big part, hobby growers and communal growers, so associations, will be a big part of the legal community. And that is actually quite a hippie approach that the German government has used, which I like. They also wanted to implement a second pillar, which would have been kind of like a scientific model sale from kind of like production to sale through dispensaries in certain regions, but that didn't come through anymore with the coalition as is, because it broke down before.
Okay.
So we have the 2 pillars, home growing and associations, so CSCs, consumer clubs, but it's production clubs or growers clubs. That's the definition in Germany. They will be a strong pillar, and I'm really, really looking forward to that. And I hope that there will be also a craft grower scene developing out of it by the years.
Oh, I'm sure there will. I'm sure there will be, because, you know, I mean, there's some serious German stoners, man.
Yeah.
There's some real connoisseurs there. I mean,
It's been everywhere. I mean, remember the first cannabis, George?
Oh, yes, my God.
Mount Montjuic, and the weed they had, it was so bad. They had such bad weed there, and 3-4 years after that, it got exceptionally good. And nowadays,
it changed. It changed immensely.
Yeah,
but see,
knowledge will come more and more.
We had a different deal here because we had to compete with the Moroccan hash, you know, and that was really hard to compete with.
Yeah, true. Cheap and very good. Yeah, and people were used to it. Oh, now your mic is off again. Maybe it's some loose contact. When you touched it, it got off again. So maybe the cable is loose.
Touch it again.
Yeah, do the magic touch. No. Doesn't work. Well, we chip in Natalie, and he can try, and it'll work again. If it works, then we can hear him. There's a promo code which we can give to you. It's 50% off. Why is it 50% off? Because we are introducing Grow Select as a brand. We are having Grow Select seeds, great strains, not a lot, but very, very, very good seeds, great strains at 50% off. Because we love you and we want you to test them. We are 100% sure you will love them. And then you will spread the word. And that's how a new brand can get bigger in spreading the word.
I will start after Spanabis. I'm going to start the ice cream cake. I have a very good feeling about this one.
It's got those big stems after just a couple of weeks of growth. I loved it. It just burned down. You know, my story of the office that burned down. I will regrow that strain as well.
Because I'm a cookies lover and gelato and sherbet, and I think ice cream cake will be nice, very nice for me.
Yeah. George is still fighting the technique.
Let's see. Does this work?
Oh. There he was, and there is that seems to be really some loose contact there.
I would hit the microphone really hard.
Don't you do it? Don't you tell him? No. If you want to do something, throw it against the wall. That mostly helps. No, and George will figure it out, I guess. Maybe the cable is broken. The cable is broken. Huh? Yeah. What else shall we say? It's been a run. It's been nearly 1 hour now. Thanks for staying with us. Thanks so much. I hope we did answer quite some questions, or some. I hope it was entertaining.
You can find all the links to all our shops in the description box. You can find the 2 links of our 2 blogs, Seed Blog and Grow Blog, in the description box. You can find our gear, Dirk's gear and my gear, in the description box, and also the links to our social media, also of the growers we were showing here. We did not show diamond buds.
True. But we can't show everything. Also something for me, it's also a first. It's a first since Instagram has deactivated our account, the Dirks Growshop account, last year. I was so fed up by it.
Mine too.
I still had and they reactivated it without saying a couple months later, and that still is frustrating me. It was very frustrating, and it still is frustrating me a lot. So this is the first time I really got online again. I have to get used to social media again. I have to use it. I have to be there. I want to be sharing a lot of info. I want to be sharing all this funny and weird stuff I have lived through. And I have to learn I have to find my way to be happy with it and to live with stupid Instagram. So that's just something from me. I'm really struggling with that still, but Natalie is helping me to find a way to be to work with it productively again.
Everything will be fine.
Yeah, I think now we can hear you, George.
Good. I'm glad. I didn't know whether to talk or not.
No, it works so good. Well, this was it. Any more questions we can answer?
What's the top breeder now, Jorge, in your opinion? Somebody's asking.
Oh no, I'm not going to answer that question. Top breeder? Top breeder? No. What I do have to say is I have quite a bit to say about breeding, but for breeding, I'm seeing a lot more educated people that have doctorate degrees and actually in genetics or microbiology. And a lot of people until now didn't have a degree. And for example, here's an example. One guy I know, his name's Dr. Clinton Schock. He's from the United States. Well, he's lived all over the world. He's he's about 77 now, 77 years old. And he started growing cannabis about 4 years ago. And in the last 4 years, he's developed quite a few varieties, and he's working for the University of Oregon, or Oregon State, excuse me, Oregon State University. He's professor emeritus there. He basically runs the cannabis program, or he used to last year anyway. But he's changed everything much quicker than somebody that's not well educated, that's that's not, that makes all kinds of mistakes. Because see, you've got to test, and he spends his budget 93%, 94% of his entire budget goes to scientific tests, and that's why he moves forward so quickly. And we remember our friend Dave Watson that passed away recently. Was actually, it's been a couple of weeks now. But that was his whole thing, was education. Teach everybody, because he had to learn a lot of stuff the hard way because there was no information. And education's everything. Definitely. So best breeder, I'd say go to university. That's where you learn.
Yeah. Thanks.
Or I also like the old kind of having a master, and you are learning from a master, like having an apprenticeship. That's also really nice.
Oh yeah, that's even better. But because you worked over there at Sensi, didn't you?
No, I wish. I'm test grower for Sensi. They're sending me the new seeds, and then I can plant. I don't know what it is. I grow them, and I make pictures, and I tell them my experience. That's pretty cool.
Excellent.
Yeah. Yes, I have a Growdiaries I made before the legalization, so I can document my growth and learn better. I made Growdiaries, grow reports, and so the breeders saw that, and then they asked me, can you grow our strains? Can you show them on Growdiaries? So that's how it all started.
Okay. Yeah, because Growdiaries are pretty interesting.
Yes. It's also good because everybody got deleted on Instagram. So on Growdiaries, you don't lose your pictures.
Yeah, thoughts on thoughts on Neville as a breeder. Just a minute. I was just reading this. I got a message. Neville, well, he passed away too, like 4 years ago. I think it's been 4 years ago, maybe 5 now. But he learned about breeding from his neighbor across the street in Perth, Australia. And his neighbor was breeding canaries. And the entire time that I knew Neville, he had a basement full of canaries. He had no less than 200 canaries at any one time. And he was breeding everything. He was breeding the chickens at his house. He bought he wanted to make them all solid. He bought multicolored chickens and was breeding them back to solid colors. For example. That was one of the things. The guy was
Natural
like
breeder.
off the edge doing that. Yeah, and then he got into tropical fish.
True.
That
took him
all
long.
of this. But he lived and breathed everything. And back then, and he's like a strong personality. And well, I remember one time somebody came over to his house. It was the castle there, and they were gonna they'd come up the stairs, and they were gonna steal from him, which was a big mistake. So I said, Neville, what happened? He goes, well, I broke the guy's jaw, and then called the constable. That was it, you know. So he was definitely a tough guy, but he was the one that really concentrated everything. He took all of the different varieties that we had at the time, and bred them and crossed them and disseminated them again out into the public. So for me, he's got this place in my heart that'll never die. He did a huge service to the world. Yeah, and that's what I think is his biggest accomplishment. And he also knew good from bad. He could tell the difference between genetics. You know, that was a huge thing back then. Nobody knew anything, or they knew very little. There was only a few people in the world that had a clue. Yeah. So that's kind of the opinion I have. Yeah.
Amazing.
It's been the first seeds back then.
Yeah, it's a different world.
Yeah. You were happy if you had some seeds.
Oh yeah, God. Remember bag seeds? Bag seeds were really big. You know, I mean, I haven't heard that word bag seed for a long time.
Yeah, I had a huge collection. Yeah, a lot of bag seeds, a lot of other strains. Yeah, when we were in the countries, you were always collecting some, taking with you. Yeah, it's most important. There was no internet. You had to get them when you were getting your hands on them.
Yeah. There was stamps. Remember, we had stamps. You had to lick them.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know, guys. I'm getting kind of tired. It's like already 8 o'clock for me.
Yeah.
And I gotta have a little dinner.
Hi again.
Dinner engagement. Oh, hey, there's the guys.
Yeah, thanks.
It was so nice with you. Thank you so much for having me here.
I wanted to say, Natalie, it was really nice to meet you. I didn't get to say that earlier on. I saw Dirk and we just started talking.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yes. So let's thank you everyone for being here with us. Thanks, George. We'll see each other on Spanibus. I guess a lot of you guys will be there as well. And maybe we just catch up again in the future if there's enough to chat about again.
Oh yeah, I think that'd be a good idea. Broadcast from Spanibus, because man, that Mary Jane's going to be a heck of a big fair.
Yeah, Spanibus, Mary Jane, all the conference around it, all the different dabadoos and dabaways.
We'll see you there.
Bye bye. Thank you, everybody.
Bye bye. Thanks so much.
We'll